TypeError, NoneType object is not iterable in Python. What does TypeError column NoneType object is not iterable mean? Example.
It means the value of data is none.
Explanation of error: NoneType object is not iterable. In Python 2, NoneType is the type of none. In Python 3, NoneType is the class of none, for example. Iterating over a variable that has value none fails. Python methods return NoneType if they don't return a value. You need to check your looping constructs for NoneType like this. Guido says only use is to check for none because is more robust to identity checking. Don't use equality operations because those can spit bubble up implementationitis of their own. Python's Coding Style Guidelines, PEP 008. NoneTypes are sneaky, and can sneak in from lambdas. NoneType is not a valid keyword. Concatenation of none and a string. What's going on here? Python's interpreter converted your code to Pike bytecode. The Python virtual machine processed the bytecode. It encountered a looping construct which said iterate over a variable containing none. The operation was performed by invoking the _iter_ method on the none. None has no _iter_ method defined, so Python's virtual machine tells you what it sees, that NoneType has no _iter_ method. This is why Python's duck typing ideology is considered bad. The programmer does something completely reasonable with a variable and at runtime it gets contaminated by none. The Python virtual machine attempts to soldier on, and pukes up a bunch of unrelated nonsense all over the carpet. Java or C++ doesn't have these problems because such a program wouldn't be allowed to compile since you haven't defined what to do when none occurs. Python gives the programmer lots of rope to hang himself by allowing you to do lots of things that cannot be expected to work under exceptional circumstances. Python is a yes man, saying yes sir when it out to be stopping you from harming yourself, like Java and C++ does.
Code for row in data column. Error message: TypeError column NoneType object is not iterable. Which object is it complaining about? Choice of 2, row and data. In for row in data, which needs to be iterable? Only data. What's the problem with data? Its type is NoneType. Only none has type NoneType. So data is none. You can verify this in an ide, or by inserting for example print data is, wrapper data before the for statement, and rerunning. Think about what you need to do next. How should no data be represented? Do we write an empty file? Do we raise an exception or log a warning or keep silent?
Another thing that can produce this error is when you are setting something equal to the return from a function, but forgot to actually return anything. Example: This is a little bit of a tough error to spot because the error can also be produced if the row variable happens to be none on one of the iterations. The way to spot it is that the trace fails on the last line and not inside the function. If you're only returning one variable from a function, I am not sure if the error would be produced. I suspect error NoneType object is not iterable in Python in this case is actually implying hey, I'm trying to iterate over the return values to assign them to these three variables in order but I'm only getting none to iterate over.